just like, oh my goodness, I'm such a genius. Kidding.
People who have been kidnapped, how'd that go down? I had been dating my boyfriend for about 8 months and I broke up with him because he ended up laying hands on me for going out to a club and wearing a crop top and shorts. About a week later he showed up at my parents' house wanting to talk to me. My mom answered the door. I didn't want any part of it, so she told him to go away. He got belligerent and eventually left, so she called the police. He was pulled over, and given a warning, then they let him be. Dad was at work, mom took sister somewhere, and I was playing Mario Party 8 on my Wii at home. There was a knock at the back door and I looked through the glass from the couch and he was there looking and trying to talk to me. Again, I didn't want any part of it so I ignored him. He got mad and shouldered the door. The frame cracked. He did it again and the door burst open. I said, "What are you doing?" And he grabbed me and put me over his shoulder and carried me outside. I figured he was just going to put me in the front seat and leave with me, but then he popped the trunk of his car with the remote and I realized what was going to happen. I twisted a little, which surprised him, and he dropped me, but then he put me in a headlock where I couldn't breathe and I stopped struggling. He tossed me in the trunk and shut it and drove off. At this point, I was doing everything I could to get out of the trunk, so I started kicking the back of the seats to get out. I eventually got one open enough to stick my head through to get some air. It was in August, and the temperatures outside were riding 95 degrees, so inside the trunk was about 110. I got my head out and could finally breathe. He had calmed down a bit, and I knew he just wanted to talk to me, so he didn't really freak when I was able to climb into the backseat. When he was putting me in the trunk, the neighbor kids were outside and they saw what was happening and ran inside to tell their parents.
Parents called the police. Police called my mom. And my mom was doing 95 down the highway to get home. Ex-boyfriend drove me an hour and a half away to an old camp he used to go to and we talked for a while. He then took me to Pizza Hut because I said I was hungry. He was not a bad guy, just misunderstood. While eating my pizza I realized maybe I'd made a mistake in breaking up with him. I also remember wondering why no one was concerned that I was waiting for a pizza without shoes or socks on. He kept staring at my feet the whole time in the queue. He always had a thing for them. Because no one said anything, I figured my parents hadn't realized what had happened yet. Little did I know, an Amber Alert had already been issued. He decided he didn't want to go to jail, so he was going back to his place of residence to get his firearm. When he got there, the cops were waiting for him and tried to taser him. They missed and he jumped back in his car and did a backwards U-turn. He started driving through the city at speeds of 95 miles per hour. If you've never been in a high-speed police pursuit, let me tell you, it's a rush. So much adrenaline. I kind of liked it. I even pecked his cheek. This caused him to turn his head slightly to look at me. Right as that happened he lost control and he ended up crashing into a tree. The cops swarmed the car, pulled us both out, and since they didn't realize who we were, cuffed us both and put us in separate cop cars. Once everything was situated, they uncuffed me and put me in a police SUV and transported me back to the police station in my city. Parents and sister were there, freaked out, found out I was okay. The whole ordeal lasted around 10 hours. I visited him in prison for his 4-year duration and now that he is out I am contemplating giving it another chance as I have not found someone as passionate about me as he was.
What can I say? Please recognize I'm trying.